everyone, it's Yvonne here to do the reading for the lovely sign of Virgo. So the way I see it, if you are a Virgo sun, so if when I say to you what star sign you are, you answer me with I'm a Virgo, then that is your sun sign. Now you can also have Virgo in other aspects of your chart. Your moon could have been in Virgo at the time of birth, your rising, etc. The only way you're not going to be sure where the Virgo is in your natal chart is by googling one. So you can google natal chart, birth chart, number of them on the internet. Majority of them are free and will give you a free report. It is handy to know your time of birth because that can change things, but if you don't, you can still do the basic chart. And then you find out where Virgo was placed in your chart. I have Virgo somewhere, but I can't remember exactly where it is. But for example, if Virgo is in your Venus, then you love like a Virgo. So you can actually look up what my love language is in terms of that. So really interesting. You can get a birth chart, natal chart report. So when you go and get your report done, just have a look and see if they'll give you a free report. A lot of them do, just for this particular thing, because it's very interesting and very enlightening too. But you know, you may have a variety of planets in your birth chart. You may have one planet that comes up a lot, like, you know, Scorpio, for example. You may have several planets in Scorpio, which means you have a high, even if your sign is Virgo, you may be able to watch Scorpio readings in terms of having that weighting. Some people don't have any water signs, other people might only have a limited amount of air, so it does have a bearing on your total character. It's really very interesting. But Virgo, if you are a Virgo moon, sun, whatever, or sometimes you can just be watching a reading and it will resonate with you, and it's okay. You can take that too. It's no good saying, oh, well, I don't want that because it doesn't apply to me, or yeah, that reading is great, but I'm not a Virgo, because the chances are pretty good you've got Virgo in your chart somewhere. So let's have a look and see what's coming in for Virgo. We're ready. Splitting the deck. Okay, so we're starting off here with the Nine of Wands. This is the card of the wounded warrior. Now, sometimes it means that something is hurting us and we are getting close to the end of a cycle, and it will be time for us to release something, let go of something, move forward, because we can let that go. For me, this is often repeating a pattern. So say, for example, you're always meeting, you know, people who have got the same personality but a different face. I always say that when you're repeating a romantic thing, like you're always meeting people who don't respect your time or your energy, and you meet them over and over again, and there comes a point where you stop and you go, this is repeating something here that I need to be aware of. Why am I always attracting these people to me? And that's a really good time for you to understand that you may have patterns to your behavior or patterns to the way you do things which you need to let go of. All right, Three of Cups. And I heard this from somebody one time. This woman said to me that she'd fallen in love with a married man and obviously couldn't be with him because, you know, he was married. But she said every time she went out into the world to meet someone, she would always meet somebody who was married or partnered. And then you have to ask yourself, well, okay, if this keeps happening to me, am I picking these people because I know they can't be with me? So if we believe that we are not good enough to meet somebody that can put a ring on our finger, then if that is our belief, we may go through life keep meeting the same sort of people because we don't believe we are good enough to marry. Now that may be a dark energy within your psyche or your shadow that you're not acknowledging. I remember when I split up with my children's father and I had 3 small children, and my father said to me, well, you'll never meet anybody who's going to want you with kids. So, you know, we take that as our own belief, and it's sort of got a bit of a feeling of like the what's cracking reading today, where we're starting to understand that perhaps we are clogged or blocked by former beliefs. And I feel like here, this is something to do with not meeting someone who's ready or accessible to you. We do have the Six of Cups, which definitely implies it's not an old belief that's sitting with you. We have the Knight of Wands, there we go. So you're obviously meeting people who, and we do have the Ten of Swords. So whatever this cycle is, you are closing out. Maybe you're always meeting people who are players or people who want no commitment. Maybe you want a commitment. Maybe you want to have a relationship with somebody. Maybe you're trying to open up to have something more certain, marriage, commitment. But maybe you're always meeting people who don't want a commitment. They just want a casual relationship, maybe casual physical relationships. How do you change that? And very often recognizing that is the first point of change. So, you know, when people are, you know, alcoholic, then often realizing they're alcoholic is a big step for them to change their pattern or the way they do things. And we do have addictions to things. So it could be that you are addicted to finding people, or you're perhaps subconsciously picking people who aren't right for you. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but maybe there's something about yourself there you have to consider so you can change that pattern. All right, so I have the Four of Wands. So I'm now believing that what it is you want: marriage and commitment. Nine of Cups, definitely. Eight of Wands and Two of Pentacles. All right, so I feel like this is the track I'm on with Virgo. There's a real feeling here that you want something that perhaps you're not changing, or you're repeating because you're not seeing something within yourself. It's not a bad thing. Could be that somebody said to you when you were younger, that something like my father said to me, or my stepfather, about not really finding someone because I had children. So, I mean, immediately you start to lower your value. You know, who's going to want me with children? So you lower your value. And until that's proven wrong, you will keep looking at your world in that regard. And I feel like here with this Nine of Cups, Four of Wands, there's a wish here. There's a wish here for marriage or commitment with somebody. And I feel like here there seems to be these sort of arrows of love. So maybe for some of you, you have met somebody who's not available to you. And somehow or another you're working on that, or you're starting to realize that, or maybe you're starting to realize that you have a pattern and you're working on that aspect of yourself. You know, sometimes people will say to me, I don't want to work on myself. And I think that's fine too. If you don't want to work on yourself, I'm not the person who's going to make you do that. But if you're repeating a pattern and you're not acknowledging that or changing that, you're just going to keep repeating the pattern. So I guess that choice lays in your hands, or lies in your hands. Because for me here, there is something you're doing here that makes me feel you are addressing this. So let's just go a little bit further. Yeah, you're manifesting something new here. We have a lot of Wands energy, and we have the High Priestess coming through. So for me, I may be talking to some of you who've got yourself into some sort of bind with the way you're doing things. May have become really evident to you that you're doing things a certain way. But I feel like with this sort of Magician, Five of Wands, High Priestess energy, that you are starting to trust yourself in regards to some sort of work you've done. Like I always say, it's a really is so down to how we observe ourselves in our world. Because really we feel like we're out of control, like we feel that nothing is within our control. And I remember watching something the other day which really made me feel that people are very much like that. You know, not people, like generally we are like that. So for example, we may believe that, let me think of an example, we're not smart enough to get a degree at university. And if we have that belief, are we ever going to take a chance on ourselves? Are we ever going to believe that we're capable of more if we believe we can't? So you're the only thing restricting yourself here. So if you start to see that perhaps maybe it's worth proving that to yourself, maybe having a look at, doing something to prove to yourself that you are able to learn at university, you are able to learn something new. But if you've got the attitude, or you've been told you can't teach an old dog new tricks, then guess what's going to stand out in your mind? Every time you think you want to do something, that little voice that said that to you years ago will keep popping up to the surface. You'll never have any money, you'll always be poor. You'll never lose weight because you're always going to be, overweight. My favorite one is you believe you're going to die from heart disease because there's people in your family that died of heart disease and it's genetic, when in reality you can work on that yourself and prove something different to yourself. But if you're going to do what everybody else is doing, and you're going to eat like everybody else did, and you're going to drink like everybody else did, then possibly that could be the case. So something here is making you realize that you've gone for a very long time behaving in the same way, and you're not seeing your own patterns. But I feel like you are starting to see your own self-sabotage here. I love that card. All right, Five of Swords right next to it. It's with the 7 of 5, 12. That's the 3 of Swords. It's creating a lot of pain for you, or has created a lot of pain for you. Yeah, I just think of people who've said this to me, and I get comments obviously on my page all the time, on my Facebook, on YouTube, whatever, where people say things, and I think if that's your belief, you're really limiting yourself. Somebody said once, I would never have a relationship with somebody younger than me. And I remember thinking, so if somebody's born a year before you, you would say no to a relationship because they're younger than you? Like, that to me was just absolutely limiting yourself completely, because the universe is just not going to send anybody in, is it? Because you've already said you don't want anybody younger than you. What happens if they were 6 days, a week younger? Are you going to make that judgment? But if you've put that out there, you're not really observing what you're giving yourself an opportunity to do. If you don't believe it's the right thing to do, or somebody's told you that women don't have younger men, then that is the attitude or belief that you need to let go of. Whatever it is, you need to see yourself. You need to observe what you're saying, doing. You are in charge of your life. You can take note of these things. You can change these things. You can teach an old dog new tricks. You have the Tower here. So whatever this is for you, Virgo, you are making some sort of change. But when the Tower comes through, it's either going to hit you like nobody's business, or it's going to slap you in the face to the point where you need to do something about it. 12:44 on the clock. I feel like that's significant for somebody. Let me just have a quick peek. 12:44. Let's just have a quick peek at what that means. 12:44. You're on the right track in life. Your guardian angels believe in your ability to achieve your goals and find happiness. Romantically, 12:44 means you'll meet a new partner soon if you're single, or deep in your relationship if you're seeing somebody. So there you go. There's a change required, and you need to move in a new direction. So let's just have a quick look at what we've got. I feel like something you're doing here, you're repeating a pattern. I feel like for some of you here, this may be in regards to meeting people who are never quite ready, or never aligned to what you want, especially with that Knight of Wands. You've got a past energy coming through here, where you may feel here that you're always meeting somebody that is not ready for a relationship, and it's all you want. But quite honestly, I feel that you just get really, really good. Like, I want to say to you, you're brilliant. You're picking out the same people all the time. That's a skill. It's just not a skill that's going to serve you if it's not what you want. All right, let's just read an energy oracle card. Oh, that one came out. Patience. Did you see that flip out of the deck? How beautiful is that? Card 16. All my lucky numbers coming out today as well. Peaceful presence, letting go of desperation. This card shows a beautiful angel holding a clock in the stillness of winter. Her quiet, peaceful energy is telling you that it's time to release the old urgency and to look at things with a much clearer perspective. When this card is upright, it's telling you to relax and let go of the single-minded desperation that's been driving you. Don't try to force your will on only one option. There it is right there. When you think there is only one solution to satisfy your need or make you happy, you are blocking many other potential solutions from coming your way. And I say that all the time. Let go of anxiety, be flexible, be patient, open and creative. Choose to be peaceful in the present. So I think that was a beautiful card there. Be patient with yourself. It's nothing that you're doing that's not right or it's bad. All it means is you're limiting the possibilities for yourself. Hope that works. Thank you. This has been a reading for Virgo. Thanks.